Ato, what a wonderful event! How are your rolls? How are your clears? But I'm here today to take a look behind the mask, to read what's behind the names, and maybe take a peek behind the curtains. Name origins, references, and character analysis, though only as much as I can gather. This won't be a definitive tell-all about our new character since, well, I can't find everything. Which is where I'd like you guys to come in. If there's something I said that is wrong, or if you have additional information, please comment it. And also note that while I may refer to some story details regarding Ato, I'll try to keep it to a minimum in case you haven't experienced it yet. Additionally, I'll be keeping it a bit shorter as we do have 4 operators to talk about. First off, Hoshiguma the Breacher, our limited 6-star. Her name origins is likely the same as her original form, being based on Hoshiguma Doji, who is one of the subordinates of Shuten Doji. This is, of course, because of her Oni race. However, her epithet the Breacher is a bit more interesting in both the CN and JP names. In Chinese, it's Zhanye, and in Japanese, Zangyo, which are the characters for cut, sever, or behead, followed by the character for karma. In my opinion, this is a reference to her arc in Ato, which is to break a karmic cycle of similar events from years ago. A tale of familial bonds, betrayal, and violence that has plagued her homeland that is at the brink of disappearing. Looking at her E2 art, we can see her in her new outfit, armed with a sword in Hanya's new form, and of note are the threefold repeating images. A bloody Hoshiguma with Hanya in the distance, on that night many years ago, followed by several doors which may represent the passage of time, with the frontmost door having an Oni face design. And then front and center is the present Hoshiguma, returning to Rose after severing the karmic loop. These visages also form a triangle, roughly, which is the shape of Hanya. And extra etymology here, Hanya is the traditional Japanese theater mask that represents a jealous female demon. The other half of the 6 stars in this banner, Haruka. Her name means far away, distant, or long ago. One possible interpretation is her distance from her true self, as her idol career encourages or in some cases even enforces an image of perfection. This may be why she chose her real name as her code name, so she may stop living as Momoka Hanyu and once more become Haruka Shino. She's based on a goldfish, a comet goldfish if one is more specific, and there are references to this in the commonly believed fact that goldfish have short memory spans. Haruka herself mentions this, but is also mentioned in her operator files when she spontaneously exhibits powerful sword techniques before quickly forgetting it. There's even one in her Elite 2 art as is usual, and here we can see various billboards and ads marketing Momoka, along with her bubbles, the aforementioned goldfish, and her arts unit, which seems to be a fun, star-shaped piezoelectric microphone, fitting for an idol. This is like the second time I've mentioned piezoelectric microphones, but I can't remember what the last one was. And also, the mention of pollution in her hometown might be a reference to the Minamata disease and an incident involving a chemical factory in 1908. As this is a more serious topic, I'll be referring you guys to a Twitter thread that I found while researching that goes more in depth about this matter. Moving on to the banner's 5-star, Kichisei. Her name can be broken up to good luck or auspicious, and then star. Fittingly enough, she's a gambling dog with a store named Lucky Star. In fact, a lot of her design seems to be luck or gambling related, though in addition to these, she also seems to enjoy tinkering about with gun-like devices, like her gun which fires pachinko balls. It is also mentioned that she makes experimental weapons for other operators, and my favorite tidbit, building a crude pachinko machine with hummus. She's also a very nice girl, willing to lend an ear to people in need of it, but I'll talk about that another time. Kichisei is a Hokkaido dog, as is stated in her artist's Weibo comment. One might confuse them with Shiba Inus, but they're noted to be larger and taller, very clearly seen in this image, though there are similarities. They also have a variety of fur colors, including red, which matches Kichisei's hair. Interestingly enough though, her animal inspiration is not on her E2, but this art leans a lot more into the gambling side of her character. We see slots, darts, assuming the kind in arcades, like in Persona 5, as well as cards with her own design. This also gives us a chance to witness her pachinko ball gun, it's a little jank, and we get a better view of the dice motif on her pant leg. And speaking of cards, my favorite of the bunch, Matsukiri. The 2 characters in his name are as follows, Matsu being Pine and Kiri being Palonia, these 2 being Hanafuda suits, specifically 2 of the 5 with bright cards, which are the highest scoring ones. There's also a Hanafuda game called Matsukiri Bozu. However, I'm more familiar with Koi Koi, which is both the name of a Hanafuda game and something you say during it to make risky plays for more points. Fittingly then, he says it in CN, JP, and EN.
Koi koi. Koi koi. Koi koi.
He is also likely based on a Japanese wolf, an extinct species. This is a trait shared only by a handful of other operators, those being Texas, Lapland, Spectre, and Passenger. The presence of birds in his E2 may also refer to the birds in Hanafuda cards, both in the animal category as well as in the aforementioned brights. The purplish flowers are also likely to be Paulownias, the Kiri suit, and this suit's bright also happens to feature both a bird and flowers. And well, of course, there's a few cards flying about. And to end on a funny little note, it's said that Matsukiri has a very nice business card. Business card. Eh? Well, that's all I got for now. Is there anything I missed? Are there things you're glad to have learned? Do you really just like one of these characters? Comment them down below, and have fun with Atto.